Shalom. We're going to begin a lesson off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double blessing and honor to the apostles and elders of the millstone who tell me this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Back with another lesson through the spirit. Just want to come at y'all with a quick lesson, man. Speaking on a video that I seen yesterday that I was talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for y'all. But first and foremost, I want to declare fair use under the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and play this video for y'all. Lord willing to be edifying to those out there listening and watching.
Earlier projecting. White people didn't even consider us human, 3/5 human. That was never our problem. Our main problem is why we considered them human in the first place. If anybody 3/5, look at that behavior. Who eat people? Who would feed a baby to an alligator? Who would do that? Who would exterminate buffalo just so people wouldn't have nothing to eat, wouldn't have a source of food, just to punish people? Who would give people disease-ridden blankets? Who would do this? Who would create black codes? If you walking along the train line, you going to prison. Vagrancy laws. Same thing they doing now. Our issue isn't our humanity. Our issue is trying to prove our humanity to people who don't behave in a humane way.
Some of the documents showing the white races of Europe, and we can get a better perspective as to who the Moors were fighting. These are the albinos and the beasts of Europe. And the Moors were fighting these people for hundreds of years prior to the so-called transatlantic slave trade. And one interesting thing I wanted to show you is that when you look at these beasts and albinos and how they have achieved what they've been able to achieve in just a few hundred years, keeping in mind that they were considered wild men just a few hundred years ago, and they had no last names. Many of them didn't even have first names. And I wanted to show you this because I found this very interesting. If you see here the wild men, and you look at the clothing that the people are wearing to the left, you can see here they're wearing this clothing to cover up their hairy bodies. So I found that very interesting. And something else I found in the British Library was one of the oldest genealogy charts, one of the first ones made for white people. And as you can see at the bottom of that genealogy chart, you see two wild men. So they're showing that their ancestry comes from the caveman. So that should give you something to think about, considering that just a few hundred years later, today, we have people like the Queen of England who claim to be of the royal bloodline of Egyptians and Cushites who ruled the earth. They even found the remains of a boy who was buried at Stonehenge in Europe. He was buried in Europe, but he actually came from the Mediterranean Sea in Africa. And he came to Europe 3,500 years ago. So that's in 1500 BC. So we're told that the Moors arrived in Europe in 700 AD.
And I will go back through that video and stuff like that throughout this lesson, most likely, but just want to come at y'all with some, just a little bit, facts, videos that I seen that I found that was interesting. And yeah, man, the first dude was speaking facts, right? And some jakes still don't know this, but we actually taught these people how to be civilized, you know what I'm saying? How to bathe, how to clean themselves, you know what I'm saying? How to have manners and stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? How to actually live right, because a lot of them, in this, even accounts of this, like you could literally Google this and look it up. Edomites, number one, they didn't think to brush their teeth. They didn't think to bathe. They used to think that shit was weird, basically. And stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this real quick. The book of Genesis, (20, 25, and 23). So like you can get 22. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord Yahweh. And the Lord Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, which is talking about us, the Israelites. And the elder shall serve the younger, which is talking about Esau. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. So he was red, likened unto a hairy garment, which the garments were red, not saying that Esau came out and he was hairy all over, but he was red in skin tone, man. He lacked the melanin, right? And you have accounts of, you know what I'm saying, like that lady said, albinos and stuff like that in the scriptures. That's likened unto people who had leprosy back in those days, because for someone to not have pigmentation or to be brown or dark skinned was seen as out of the ordinary. You could take the story of Cain, you know what I'm saying? That's a good story of that symbolizes that, or gives a good example of that. You know, Miriam, things of that nature. Those people who were clean lepers, meaning they were pale all over, because leprosy would come in spots. It's likened unto vitiligo, what they call vitiligo now. But back then it was called leprosy. And if you know what I'm saying, were a leper, or if you had blonde hair, you were considered unclean. It says, when her days, so like, I'll pass that. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them, right? And the word Jacob literally means heel holder. That's what it means. It literally means heel holder. So it's a planner. So even then with that, there's symbolism behind that, right? If you go into the book of 2 Ezra 6 and verse 9. It says, 2 Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question is just asked thou not. And the fact that Jacob was holding Esau's heel when they came out symbolized that Esau will be in rulership, right? As we just read at the beginning, them having dominion first, you know what I'm saying, ruling this world, then our rulership coming thereafter theirs, right? Jacob is, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, let's continue on. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And that even lines up with how Edomites act nowadays, the so-called white man. They love to go out and hunt and stuff like that, be outside in nature and things of that nature, while Jake likes to, stay at home, chill, relax, stuff like that. We don't really be out in nature and stuff. We're more so reserved set of people. Says, but as we've been in Babylon, a lot of that shit has rubbed off on us. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. So in the scriptures it says Esau means hairy and Edom means red. But in actuality, Esau means a different word. I can't remember exactly what it means off the top of my head. But it means something else. But it means something else. It is funny though that the fact that the scriptures have it, or book has it, that Esau means hairy and Edom means red, and that's the depiction of Edomites, or so-called white people today. They are red, they're pale, but they're red, and they are very hairy. It says, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Now you have people who say Jacob swindled Esau out of his birthright. He tricked Esau out of the birthright. He stole the birthright, all of this stuff. What they never went and read the book of Romans chapter 9. Where it quite literally says that the Lord made it that way from the beginning. That's just how it happened to play out. The fact that Jacob dressed up and Isaac was of old age, so he didn't have the best vision, and he went into the room and he gave Jacob the blessing. But I brought that out because that is basically where Esau's hatred for Jacob started, and why these people hate us to this very day. Because Esau decided to sell his birthright for one morsel of meat. That's why this story it correlates with Cain and Abel, because this nigga literally wanted to kill his brother. Salakia. I think this in verse 28. Let me just look it up. It's verse 27, chapter 27. The book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 38, says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? I can read up. As we read, man, the elder shall serve the younger. The book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 29. Let people serve thee get verse 28. Therefore the Most High give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Jacob had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce going out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. So Isaac gave Jacob the blessing, man. And there's been a lot of nations and people who have come against us, specifically so-called white men, throughout history, as that fellow mentioned in the video I played earlier. And he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father. I said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may be blessed, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, whom art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. Now remember earlier, he just said, what was the profit of me having a birthright anyways? And it said he despised the birthright. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And remember, before they even came out, the elder shall serve the younger. That word Lord is just another word for master or ruler. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Coming into my point now. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, the dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Now, the other video I was going to incorporate into this video was talking about how we were in rulership, because for some reason people just think that our history started with slavery. And if you still believe that, then you're just a dumbass. But no, before we went into slavery, we were rulers, we were kings upon the earth. And we were in rulership over our brother. They ended up getting a jump on us when we went into captivities, those captivities, you know what I'm saying, Babylonian, Grecian, Roman, things of that nature. They were ruling over us. So that's what it means when it says, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck, because we had dominion over them at one point in time for a while. Then we regained our dominion when the Roman Empire, the ancient Roman Empire, fell. And we had those 1,000 years where we were in rulership, considered the quote-unquote dark ages or the Middle Ages. Then following that, they came back into power around the 1400s, around the 15th century. And that was marked the Renaissance era or the rebirth period, because Edomites came back into power, and they painted the likeness of the images, you know what I'm saying, changed the faces, broke noses, all that other shit, to make it seem like they were just the top or the head of the nations on the earth, which is completely false. Like that dude said, we trying to prove humanity to a people that's inhumane, which I'm going to get real soon. says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my then he was going to wait till his father died, then he was going to kill his brother. But yet, our people still want to be friends with these people. And they still have this strong hatred for us to this day. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 10. You have Jakes right now I just seen a video of a Jake woman and another one, you know what I'm saying? One was crying online, basically saying that Trump had made it legal to come get brown, you know what I'm saying, quote unquote, black and brown people up off the streets, meaning Negroes and Latinos, as if we haven't been telling y'all that these things were going to come to pass, right? But it's okay though. Whenever Jake starts to listen, that's when you know we at the end. Like shit didn't hit the fan. Like we in Jacob's trouble type shit. Never trust thine enemy for this Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. So when they seen the opportunity, they were able to overthrow us, and they took our seat and made it seem that they had always had that seat and no one else had it before them, depicting it as if they came from royalty and they came from like they said with Queen Elizabeth, man. You know what I'm saying? Those are some of the examples. Let me see. So I'm gonna get going to Romans 9, and then I'll get into some of these other precepts, man. It says the book of Hebrews, chapter 12. And we can start at verse 12. Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down in the feeble knees, and make straight paths of your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. Follow peace with all men, and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord, looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High, lest any root of bitterness spring up, Shalakia, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person, as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. The Lord rejected his ass. He didn't want you, Esau, and it wasn't meant for you to never had a birthright. But yet, hey, they've been appointed as our adversary since the womb. So from the womb to the tomb, they always going to be like that towards us. But they hate us and they envy us because they want to be us, man. And LT, make sure that no one is immoral or godless like Esau. And that goes for the Edomites as well, because you are your forefathers, who traded his birthright as the firstborn son for a single meal. Nigga, call lawyer Howard Bashim shots 1144. Now we're going to go into Romans and see what it says. The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 6. Not as though the word of the Most High had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel, which are of Israel, neither because they are the seed of Abraham, as they all, Salakia. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall the Salaki, I wish I could read. Let's try it again from the top. Verse 7, Romans 9:7. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of the Most High. These are not the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. For this is the word of promise, at this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And who was Sarah's son? Sarah's son was Isaac. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, when Rebekah was the mother of Esau and Jacob. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. Do y'all know what that means? Let me break it down for you. The Lord had already selected who was going to have the blessing and who was going to be of the elect before any of the two were born, before they could have done any type of good or evil, because it was prophecy. The Lord did it for a reason. He made it that way for a reason. Like it says, that the purpose of God, according to election, might stand, not of works. So it didn't matter what they did on the earth, with Esau crying and all this other shit, being sorrowful, or trying to redeem himself, whatever you want to say. That didn't matter. It was already set up that way to begin. So like it. The NLT, but before they were born, before they had done anything good or bad, she received a message from God. This message shows that God chooses people according to his own purposes. Just as it reads in the book of Jeremiah, I selected you. He said, I knit you in your mama's womb. I knew you before you was even born and selected you and appointed you to be a prophet, right? It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated, right? This is the Lord speaking, man. The Lord already told her that the elder brother was going to serve the younger brother. And in the kingdom of heaven, who's going to be our number one servant? The Edomites, our adversary. The things that they've done to us and gotten away with countless times and times again, as it says, man, return unto him double. You know what I'm saying? That shall not go unpunished. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. The Lord loved the Israelites, man. The Lord loved the Israelites. And if you tell these people that the so-called white man is Esau Edom, if you tell our people that, they'll lose their damn bananas. What shall we say then? Let's continue on. Verse 14. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy on. Salaki. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. I mean, the Lord pick and choose. So then, it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that sheweth mercy. So, because the Lord chose Jacob over Esau, does that mean that the Lord is unrighteous? No, it doesn't. Now, We can get a verse. Go to Obadiah 1. They don't want to bring Obadiah out neither. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. That's verse 10. We can get verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, saith the Lord, the Most High Power, concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. We're seeing that unfold in real time. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. Meaning they was troglodytes, cave dwellers. Now we get a clear understanding, a picture of who is talking about. Whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? That great pride that they have. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? He's been getting exposed more and more. He just got exposed in this video. In that video I played before. Exposing their ass. You was the wild man. Yeah, you was the one that was cave dwellers. Talking about some, we came from cavemen. No, nigga, you came from cavemen. We did not come from that shit. Y'all was dwelling in caves. We were not a part of that. The fuck? That was y'all history. Y'all was the wild man living outside. You know what I'm saying? Living in the woods and stuff. Likened into a damn animal. And then just bringing forth destruction wherever you go. That's that man of sin being revealed, the son of perdition. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, coming soon and still coming, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? The Lord hath been stripping their ass of wisdom. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. That's going to be the great judgment that the Lord is going to bring upon this place, Babylon the Great, as well as the Edomites. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Jumping down to verse 15. For the day of the Lord Yahweh is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. And that's what's going to happen to these Edomites, man. The Lord is about to get in their ass. Let me see. Deuteronomy 28:48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And that's what they did to us, man. Like you were saying, who would feed their babies? Who would feed children to alligators? Who would eat other people? Who would take away people, all the things that they, you know what I'm saying, they whole food supply, just so people couldn't eat nothing. I'm going to get this and I got a couple more and I'm going to wrap it up, man. That man of sin being revealed, the son of perdition, the one who brings destruction. Wherever he set foot, he brought destruction. ain't did no good. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. And it reads in the NLT, don't be fooled by what they say, for that day will not come until there is a great rebellion against God, and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the one who brings destruction. They're being revealed more and more day by day, realizing that these people are indeed, they just destructive, man. In every shape and form and fashion, they're just destructive. Daniel 4 and verse 17. Look at verse 16. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. And that's who's in rulership right now, the basis of men, the lowliest of men, right? The Edomites are the lowliest of the men. Of mankind, they're the lowliest, they're the basest of men. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. If you can't see that these people are cruel, they're vile, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. This is not meant for you. And if what I'm saying is harsh, you can click on another video. You're not being held hostage on this channel. It's just the truth, though, man. You don't realize that these people is actively doing something to y'all. Or y'all just that much in a lullaby. Let me get Job 30, and I'm going to close it off here. The book of Job, chapter 30 and verse 1. But now they that are younger than me, but now Job's present state is humiliating. And he's talking about Edomites when he says this. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Meaning he don't even trust these people around his dogs, man. That's how disgusting they are. These people commit bestiality, all types of shit. Yeah, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. Remember, like he said, man, trying to prove your humanity to a people that act inhumane, who are inhumane. You have, these motherfuckers don't even bathe. And it's accounts of that happening now. We done made videos on that. That's not nothing new. For want and famine, they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. Because that's all they know. That's where they like to dwell. Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And now am I their song, yeah, I am their byword. They abhor me, they flee far from me, and spare not to spit in my face. That's exactly how they treat us now. They look at us as if we're the disgusting ones, as if we're the savages. As if we the ones who just be out here killing shit. We can get this in NLT. But now I am mocked by people younger than I, by young men whose fathers are not worthy to run with my sheepdogs. A lot of good they are to me, those worn out wretches. They are gaunt with hunger and flee to the deserts, to desolate and gloomy wastelands. They pluck wild greens from among the bushes and eat from the roots of broom trees. They are driven from human society, and people shout at them as if they were thieves. So now they live in frightening ravines, in caves and among the rocks. They sound like animals howling among the bushes, huddled together beneath the nettles. They are nameless fools, outcasts from society. Did that lady not say that in? Hey man, the scriptures don't miss. That lady literally said that in the video. And now they mock me with vulgar songs. They taunt me. They despise me and won't come near me, except to spit in my face. Man, that's beautiful, man. Call Allah Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Makakudash. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to those out there listening and watching. I'm going to close it off there. I'm going to give double blessing and honor again to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. And until next time, I say Shalom Israel. Shalom. And as always, we're one day closer to the kingdom, man. Keep pushing. Salakia had a brain fart. Let me just redo the whole thing, cause I done lost my train of thought. That being said, I want to close the lesson off. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Ba'ashim Akakudash. Double blessing and honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. And until next time, I say Shalom Israel, Shalom. And as always, we're one day close to the kingdom, man. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Shalom.